There are so many times, like by myself in the middle of the day, that I was like, holy shit. We need to acknowledge, we'd be remiss if we did not acknowledge that the verdict came out this week in the 6-week-long Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. The jury awarded him $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages. But the thing with Virginia, where the trial took place, is that they cap punitive damages at $350,000. So that $5 million is like a statement. Like if we could, we would award you
in
this
theory,
much, but we can't. And so you get only $350,000. But then she also got $2 million. She had countersued him. She got $2 million in compensatory damages. And I would love for this thing to be over, but she says she is appealing. Yep. They both put out statements on Instagram, and BuzzFeed did a whole list of like, here's all the celebrities who liked Johnny Depp's statement, and here's the ones who liked Amber Heard's, and like he got like dozens and dozens, and she got like 5.
This whole thing has just been gross, and terrible things have happened, and other terrible things have happened, and people discussing this on the internet. So I'm not participating.
No, but I will say it was one last thing, and then we'll move on, is that this does reflect the further polarization of our society, that like everything requires everyone to take a stand in the most emphatic means possible. And there's no room for like discussion or gray area. It's like, I'm on this side and you're on that side.
Whatever they know or don't know or think they know. Yes.
Anyway, so I'd love for this to be done, but we're probably going to have to talk about it again in our lifetimes. But at least this part of the trial is over. Speaking of things that just won't go away, the slap happened months ago, but Jada Pinkett Smith finally talked about it on her Red Table Talks series on Facebook Live. And when I say talked about it, she didn't really talk about it. She talked about it as an opportunity for healing, and how the world needs both of these men and their very important voices. And she was overwhelmed by the supportive response that she got from other people with alopecia, and used it as an opportunity to shine a light on what it is like to live with alopecia.
Okay.
You have no thoughts?
I really, I would love for them to work this out far away from the spotlight, from the glare of society's attention. Y'all deal with your stuff, and you know, at the end of it, come tell us how it came out. But until then, I don't want to know.
That's not what they do, though. They work things out in public.
Heavens, no.
We all have to know about it.
Every step of the way.
You went and saw RRR at the Encore Theater. Tell us what that experience was like for you.
It was pretty great. I mean, like, I have friends who went on opening night back in March and have described it as like one of the most extraordinary film going experiences of their lives. But I will say, seeing it in a mostly packed house in North Hollywood was thrilling. I mean, this is the kind of movie, and we'll review it today, and so we'll get more into it, but that really inspires an audience to just like leap to their feet and cheer and clap and just be gobsmacked from start to finish. So yeah, I'm really glad I had that opportunity. It's a, you know, it is showing on Netflix now, and I certainly encourage people to check it out there. It is the Hindi dub as opposed to the original language that you know was the theatrical release in Telugu. But yeah, this is a real game changer, and I think this is a movie that it's rippling out from like the hardcore fans of, you know, North American fans of Indian cinema to, by the end of the year, like, I'm sure the major players of this movie are going to be heavily courted by Hollywood, because you know, this is just the kind of movie that gets people really excited.
For sure. And I know that one encore showing was, you know, supposed to be a one night thing, but like our friends at the Bell Court, for example, are saying that they want to bring it back. We should mention also, I forgot to mention off the top, our friends at the Loft Cinema in Tucson, who are our movie house shout out of the week. They've got Crimes of the Future this week, as we will as well. And they do amazing, cool stuff. If you want to find out more about their work, they're celebrating 50 years of showing independent film and being a great nonprofit film hub in Tucson. Nice. We'll have a link below. Forgot to mention them off the top. Thank you to our friends at the Loft Cinema. So I was thinking about you as I watched are on that couch behind me on Netflix. And there are so many times like by myself in the middle of the day that I was like, holy shit, like that is incredible. And I'm like by myself. So I thought it would be so much fun to watch various parts of it with a packed, enthusiastic crowd. And as you mentioned, we'll have a full review of it later on. So make sure you check that out as well.
There will apparently be another screening in LA for all the people who saw it at the Grove, because somehow this part 2 didn't happen.
Yeah, I saw some tweets about that like, because there's an intermission, right?
Yeah, there's an intermission. And then apparently at the Grove, like they somehow couldn't make part 2 happen and everybody had to go home, which I can't even, that's like how they didn't just go, how they, I don't know, I would have burned the theater down, but it's yeah, so I guess those folks hopefully will get another shot at it.
Yeah, that is awful. Speaking of holy shit cinema, the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa, began production this past week.
Nice. Is Miller directing again?
Yes.
Great. And he's got, and in between now and then we have a new movie from him coming that just premiered at Cannes. So, you know.
Right. And Anya Taylor-Joy is the Muppet Baby Furiosa. So that will be really fun. I look forward to that for sure. Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery, before they were famous people, they worked at a video store in Manhattan Beach, California, Video Archives. And they're starting a podcast with that same name to go back and reflect on the kinds of movies that they watched and loved and that shaped them before they went on to, you know, write Pulp Fiction, for example.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever my issues with Tarantino as a filmmaker, he is clearly a lifelong dedicated cineast, and he's very articulate about the films that he loves and why he loves them. So yeah, I think this would be a really good crash course for people who just kind of want an idea of his POV about certain kinds of cinema. I'm sure it'll be good.
And his enthusiasm is so infectious. Like, say what you will, like he means it. Like,
oh yeah, pumped. Yeah, for sure. He's never phoning it in that department.
BTS went to the White House right at the tail end of May. May was Asian Heritage Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And so they went to the White House, which I'm sure was like insane that day.
No doubt.
Right. They looked very dapper.
To talk about anti-Asian hate crimes in this country, which has been a real issue, particularly in the last couple of years during the COVID outbreak. So good on them. You know, I'm always up for celebrities who know that if the cameras are going to follow you anywhere, then take the cameras somewhere where you can actually do some good.
For sure. Bo Burnham's Inside, which we talked about on Tuesday, the Inside Outtakes. There's now also going to be a deluxe version of the Inside album with the original songs from the original Netflix special that came out a year ago. Have you had a chance to watch the outtakes yet?
I haven't yet, but I promise I will, and we can, you know, do a thing about it maybe. But yeah, I want to. I just, you know, this week's been nuts. I just moments before we started this morning, I finished up my review of Terence Davis's Benediction, which I super recommend if you're living somewhere where it's showing. It's gorgeous. It's another beautiful film from Terence Davis about the poet Siegfried Sassoon. But yes, I will get to the Inside Outtakes.
There's a lot of content, and there's Stranger Things, and there's Obi-Wan, and there's
too.
Miss Marvel's coming next week.
Yes, and all of which we are covering over on Patreon. So, you know, I've got the plates are full.
Come join us there.